Good afternoon. It is now 1 minute after 4. I now call Hemet City Infrastructure Commission meeting to order. 2.0. Roll call, please.
Here.
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 Here. Thank you. Item 3.0. Can we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. 4.0. Mr. City Clerk, could you give the oath of office, please?
Thank you, Chair Sawyer. John Paul, City Clerk, and I'll be providing the oath here from the podium today because I have two reappointments, which is Jeffrey Moore and William Hendrickson, and our new incoming Commissioner, Lori Van Arsdale. Will you all please rise or raise your right hand? And then repeat after me and state your name. I,
William Hendrickson,
solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States
Constitution of the United States,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I'm about to enter. Congratulations to all of you. You are all sworn in.
Thank you.
Here we go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. All right, thank you, Mr. Clerk. Okay, 5.8. Okay, Madam Secretary, do you take over this section to call for the chairperson, or I go ahead and okay, go ahead, since it's for the chairperson.
I'd like to nominate the gentleman sitting next to me as chair, so he continues. Please. Can we get a second?
I'll second it.
I'm sorry, do I need to state his name? Raymond Sawyer? Okay, thank you. Put that in there. Commissioner Hendrickson?
Yes.
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 Yes. Thank you, and thank you guys for having confidence in me on this. Okay, I will now call for nomination for a vice chair, please. I want to make a motion. Oh, go ahead. Okay, I want to make a motion to appoint the lady next to me.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, Miss Lowe.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Oh, you want to call for the vote, right? Call,
Yes.
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 yes. Thank you. Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna move on to item number 6. Madam Clerk, do we have any speaker slip for this item? Communication from the public? No, okay. Thank you. 7.A, governance discussion by city manager.
Good afternoon. I'm Mark Prestwich and Chair Sawyer, members of the commission. Thank you for the opportunity to take a portion of your agenda and talk a little bit about governance. Typically, I enjoy doing this type of a discussion in a workshop where we would sit around a table and go through a number of exercises, spend a little time getting to know our new members, and then talk about attributes of highly exceptional and effective boards and commissions, do a little bit of team building, review the duties and responsibilities of the commission, and then move on to your agendas down the road. But today, my time is constrained, and I think I have about 15 minutes because the council and the mayor has called a special meeting for 4:30 this afternoon at City Hall. So I'll be leaving in about 15 minutes. It's my understanding that the city engineer, our staff to this commission, has distributed a couple of documents to you. Is that right? So one of those is something called Attributes of Exceptional Boards. We'll talk about that primarily today. We also distributed a copy of city council protocols for the city from the city of Calabasas. The reason for this is our protocols are under a fairly significant review right now, and they will be changing. So this is an example of what relationships work. Our document will look similar. It will be a lot different, but it will have similar themes in it. And the importance of this document is you have some opportunity to see how city councils and staff interact and what the rules and responsibilities and roles of the boards and commissions are. We call this governance, and it's this is the same basic conversation that we had with the city council on the third day I was here. And it's a best practice to have this type of a conversation, not only with the city council annually, but also with our boards and commissions. So congratulations, you're the first commission that we've started with on this. And then finally, I believe, Noah, did we also provide a link to or information on the duties and responsibilities?
They each get a binder that includes that resolution and all that information. So I didn't send it separately.
Okay. So one of the things that I think is always really helpful to refresh and review each year is our municipal code. The council adopts the code and they adopt rules that govern each of our committees and our commissions. In this case, section 2.224 of the Hemet Municipal Code outlines the functions and duties of this commission. And there are 20, and there are a lot in this list. And the final one includes other duties as assigned from the city council from time to time. So essentially everything infrastructure, as you know, is something of purview to this commission. So we could probably keep you busy every week, just like the city council, but I know you don't meet as frequently as the city council, but it would be good to, in today's time, we won't walk through each of these, but please take an opportunity to review the 20 various functions that are prescribed to this commission. If you have any questions related to that, I'm available, but your primary contact is going to be our city engineer, the staff to this body. And we're happy to talk to you more about that. And I think it's fair to say we have a couple of items that we know we've talked about internally that are coming your way fairly quickly. I want to really spend the remaining 12 minutes on this document. This was a document put together by the Institute for Local Government. It's essentially a think tank for California cities and counties. And while this document was created for county boards, the word boards There's two versions of this document. There's one for city councils and there's another one for boards. But I've been using this as a talking point and a teaching tool for a few years now. And I think there are some elements that are contained in this document that are helpful to just reinforce. And I want to walk through this document with you and touch on a couple of those today. The focus of the Institute for Local Government is really to bring forward best practices in policy development and operations. And they developed this document to help elected bodies, not appointed bodies like this one, but elected bodies facilitate policymaking in a more successful way. And so what we're going to do today is take a peek at that world because it's really applicable to you as appointed officials of the city council as well. And imagine that we're also in this team building kind of offsite environment, which maybe we'll do next year. But there's just a few of these. So the first one talks about exceptional boards develop a sense of team, a partnership with the chief administrator to govern and manage the county. In this case, your chief administrator is the city engineer. And managing the county really means managing the business of this commission and all of the 20 duties that are assigned to this commission and the topics that come forward to you on their way to the city council. One of the near-term examples that I was referring to is probably related to some Stony Mountain traffic related issues. So that will be forthcoming probably within a couple of months, one of your next two meetings. On the second one, I won't jump into each of these in the interest of time, but the second here is exceptional boards have clear roles and responsibilities that are understood and adhered to. That's why I encourage you to take a careful look at the duties that are included in the municipal code. Number 3 and number 4, I want to spend a little bit more time on, and I think this is a really important portion of this document. Number 3 reads, exceptional boards honor the relationship with staff and each other. And I spend a lot of time on this with the city council because I'm very, I think it's incredibly important for us to set a good example as commission members and as city council members in the conduct of city business. So I particularly like the second and third sentences here under this paragraph. Exceptional boards treat each other and staff with dignity and respect. They act with civility and a high level of professional decorum. We're going to always disagree on policy matters. That's the value of having different perspectives brought to the table. But how we discuss those issues and how we move forward, I think there's an art to that. And we have a lot of younger folks and future commission members and future council members, and sometimes future council members that are going to be used. They're going to look at you and learn from you the way you conduct business. And I think it's incredibly important that you set a good example for them. We know that at the federal level, there's often a lot of tension, right? That's probably an understatement. And there can be tension at a local level, but not if we agree to disagree in a respectful way on policy matters that when the vote is taken, we agree to move forward, knowing that the majority of the body advanced the policy initiative in that direction. I did also highlight for myself a reference to no surprises. This is really for Noah. If you have a question for staff in advance of the meeting, I would encourage you to contact Noah and run that question by him so that he has an opportunity to either answer that question or do some research. He may need a little bit of time, and we know that there's often not a lot of time, but he may need to do a little research to get back to you. And your question may be the same question that 4 others are thinking about. So we appreciate your questions, but we find it very helpful if Noah has a heads up before meetings. I also highlighted each of the 3 bullets under key characteristics. We talked about agreeing to disagree respectfully without being disagreeable. Key characteristics of exceptional boards and commissions are that they're able to leave it at the dais. Debates are about policy, not personality. Exceptional board members reflect positive decorum and a model of leadership by providing a respectful tone with their colleagues. They also established a set of behaviors ahead of time, potentially documented in a code of conduct to help promote civility and respect. And you will see a code of conduct that will apply to the city council, as well as our boards and commissions that will come forward to the council in the coming month or two. Moving on to number 4, exceptional boards routinely conduct effective meetings. And I'm looking at the last sentence of the first paragraph. They honor the public's participation and engagement, and they generally start on time and are held during reasonable hours. And what I would encourage you to do is stay focused on the agenda items, run an efficient meeting. As the chair, your job will be to bring everybody together and make sure those voices are heard among the public as well as your peers at the dais. Respect is demonstrated for all opinions, all variety of opinions, and everyone strives to be civil and act with decorum. Moving on to number 5. Exceptional boards hold themselves in the county, in this case, the commission, right, accountable. And what I'm really referring to are the protocols that you see, the theme and the themes that you see in the Calabasas Code are the same types of themes that you'll see in the document that the council will consider here shortly. It will be a significant update to our essentially rules of order, and it will have language included in it for our committees and our commissions. So there'll be some operating protocols and codes of conduct that are referred to there. And there are no surprises. It's really straightforward type of language. And then finally, number 6, exceptional boards have members who practice continuous personal learning and development. We have a couple of veterans on this commission, so we're fortunate to have a couple of former council members and mayors with us. And so you have a gift in those 2 people. And then secondly, myself and our staff, civil and city engineer, we're happy to point you in the direction of different types of training that you may be interested in. If there's a budget consideration, then we can work on that. But there are a lot of online type of options as well as other available resources, and we're happy to share those resources with you. Or if you have a curiosity in a certain area, we're happy to talk to you about that. So why don't I stop there, and I'm happy to answer any questions you have, and you can also reach me tomorrow or later this week if we don't talk about it, your questions today.
Okay, thank you very much.
I have a question. I'm just assuming we can get the present council protocols online.
Yes, I think our city clerk left, so I'm not sure if they're linked on there today, but any existing protocols will control until subsequent protocols replace them.
How they would compare. Thank you.
It's a comprehensive document.
Okay, any more questions?
No, excuse me, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. President. Anyway, I think it's marvelous. Not only is it going to be educational for those of us on the board, but also I think it displays to the public that the city has elevated its professionalism. And I applaud you for it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Chair.
Okay. Okay, we're gonna move on to item 8, consent calendar. All consent calendar items would be acted upon by a single action of the commission unless otherwise requested by an individual commissioner for separate consideration. Item 8A, approval of minutes for June 12, 2023 Infrastructure Commission meeting. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, roll call, please.
Yes.
Yes.
I would abstain because I wasn't here.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, 8B, approval of minutes for July 17, 2023 Infrastructure Commission meeting. Do I have a motion, please?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Yes. Yes.
Abstain.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you, man. Okay, item 9, discussion item. 9A, general plan amendment, updates to the circulation elements to include removal of a segment of the future Whittier Avenue Street, alignment from the City of Hemet General Plan Roadway Circulation Master Plan. Staff report on that one. Okay.
Good evening, Chair, members of the Infrastructure Commission. I'm Monique Alanis Slater, Principal Planner. Tonight, I'd like to just briefly introduce this item for general plan amendment to the circulation element. This item has been presented to the Infrastructure Commission in November. The Commission had a few concerns and questions about the proposal. And it also came back in June for further discussion. But I would like to just provide, for the benefit of the Infrastructure Commission today, just a little bit of background on why we're here today. So this is based on an applicant-driven application for development. We have received an application for future development of the property that includes future warehouse development and associated improvements on 41.86 acres. The property is located east of Sanderson Avenue with frontage along Kirby Street and Acacia to the north. The project is currently pending review with the city. And just briefly here, the future plan for the City of Hemet's general plan circulation element identifies a roadway segment that would connect from Sanderson Avenue to Kirby Street. And that is a two-lane collector roadway. However, this presents a constraint for any future development of the property because it bisects the property and limits usable land and site development opportunities for this business park property. So the applicant is requesting an amendment to the general plan to eliminate that portion that connects through or cuts through to Kirby Street. Also, looking at the overall proposal, not only would this limit cut through traffic onto Kirby Street, there's also an opportunity that we've been working with the applicant to distribute that potential for internal access to the site and the surrounding properties. So to provide, as illustrated in this graphical illustration, you have Whittier Avenue Street, and as you can see, it could potentially connect to the north and provide an internal cul-de-sac connection that would not only benefit this development, but all the surrounding developments within this area. The applicant is here this evening to present this further, as well as identify to the commission the preliminary findings of their traffic impact analysis.
On this diagram, it does not show this, just so I'm clear. It won't go north to Acacia, is that correct?
That is correct.
So it'll be internal
Internal.
and then to Sam. That's wonderful. Okay, good.
So the applicant, the EPD Solutions representing the applicant is here this evening, and they will provide you with a presentation further.
Well, that's coming up. Thank you, Commissioner Jeremy Kraut, EPD Solutions. Appreciate you having time with us to consider this project, and welcome Commissioner Van Arsdale. Thanks for being here and spending your time with us this evening. And thanks to Monique for the overview of the project. So I'm going to just do a quick overview. Monique did a great job of giving the kind of general picture of it and where we're at today. I'm hoping that really mine is just available for more clarification or information on the proposal. Thank you. And so if you have any questions, though, feel free to stop me as I go through. It has similar information. This presentation has similar information as Monique, so I'll go through pretty quickly. But again, feel free to ask any questions as I go through it.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Ma'am.
For full disclosure to the commission, Ms. Van Arsdale and I both met with Jeremy, or was it this week or last? I
Last
don't
week, yeah.
remember. Anyway, it was recently. And because of the former concerns that I had on this project, entering and leaving on Kirby. And we did discuss this briefly, but I hadn't seen the final map, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you. Yeah, so I think just to again illustrate, this is your circulation element that's online, and it does highlight that there's a stretch from of Whittier from Warren to Kirby, and so we're really just focusing though on a portion of Whittier that in your traffic analysis, your traffic model that was completed for your general plan amendment, it didn't analyze Whittier at all. It didn't have that stretch of Whittier in there. So what we did as part of this request, Monique was right as far as the request. The reason for the request is the road goes right through the middle of the property. It also provides cut through traffic to Kirby for any traffic that's on Sanderson and any development that occurs within this area. Not only the project site, but the neighboring project sites that surround the property are also designated for industrial uses. And so the idea in talking with your staff was we should not have a cut through to Kirby to encourage or allow for truck traffic to go on Kirby. The idea is to keep it onto Sanderson, which is your truck route. So the proposal that is before you is to remove that segment of Whittier that connects to Kirby. That would prevent the truck traffic from going to Kirby. Again, when we went to start the analysis, the traffic analysis for the proposed removal of that segment, we found that your traffic study did not actually have this segment in there anyway. So what our traffic engineer, and who's actually in the audience today, had to do, and her team, is to actually rebuild the model with that segment in to show what if it was actually built condition, and then analyze removing it again. And so that was done. This picture right here is actually the output from the model, and that red line shows that was not actually in the model. We had to stick that into the model and analyze it. So with that, and this is just the illustration of the portion of Whittier that's being removed on your circulation element. And this is just zooming into the specific location. So the pinkish or purplish line that is there, that's what your general plan currently shows. It's as you heard, a collector 2-lane between Sanderson and Kirby, and then everything west of Sanderson is a 4-lane secondary. So the proposal is just to remove that one segment, as you heard before. Currently, Sanderson Square specific plan, which is the area where the pink segment remains, that also only analyzed, so that was approved in 2006. That specific plan assumed that Whittier was stopping here. So it's just, I think, a more of a old mapping issue that needs to be corrected in your general plan, that they assumed Whittier would stop at that location and then go south back to Sanderson, as you saw in Monique's presentation, that it was Olympia Way in her presentation. In the specific plan, it's called Sanderson's Square, I believe, but regardless, it's the same road. So I think what we're proposing is making it consistent with the with what the specific plan already analyzed and what the general plan of traffic study already considered. And so when the analysis was prepared, we in the model, we stuck the road back in just to do with and without it. And what it showed was that there was not a significant impact as a result of removing the road or that portion of Whittier in the analysis. So that determined that the removal of that segment would not cause any further failures of intersections that are surrounding the property. And I have the traffic engineer here to answer any of the questions, Megan Macias, if you have anything going more specific into the analysis, but the findings were that there were no significant impacts as a result of the removal of the road of that portion of Whittier in the model.
Okay, I have some series of questions regarding the warehouse project. Okay, how much effect, or did you guys do any report on pollution? Because the warehouse project is gonna bring a lot of trucks. So how much report or did you do any on pollution?
Yeah, and I appreciate the question. I think one thing just to be clear for tonight, the only request is for the segment of road that's is to remove Whittier. So that right now the project isn't before you for consideration. There was an analysis done on the warehouse, and that is a part of that project's analysis, the CEQA analysis that was completed, which is under review by your staff. It did not show significant impacts beyond what the general plan already analyzed as far as impacts. But relative to this evening, the focus is really just that segment of the road to remove that from the site, the Whittier segment from the road, from the project site.
Okay, so with the removal, okay, if we remove that segment, okay, what is the projected cost if it's removed, and if it's not removed, what is the?
Well, there's no cost to the city. To remove it, the building out the road, there would be additional maintenance, construction and maintenance costs relative to keeping up a road for that portion. Compared with the entire city of road network, that is probably a very minimal amount of money to maintain that portion of road. But there is no road physically there. It's solely a map line on your map. And so removing that or keeping it in doesn't have a significant financial impact one way or the other to the city. This is solely about how does traffic circulate once that road is removed. And what our analysis showed is that there is not a significant impact to traffic circulation as a result of removing that portion of the road.
Okay, is it gonna be any effect on flooding in the city?
No effect on flooding either. Any project that's built on that property would have to analyze drainage, flooding, any element of the drainage system, and then connecting to storm drain system. But relative to the removal of the road itself doesn't provide any benefit one way or the other to the flooding situation.
Okay, I think I have one more question on that. Okay, it's stated somewhere on page 23. It should be noted that the realignment of Whittier Avenue to north of Olympia Way is only to provide access to property in those APNs. Are those single units? Are those multi-units?
The APNs that are referenced are solely those properties that are currently vacant.
That are they already?
And they're vacant, so
Okay.
there's no units there.
Okay. All right, thank you. Are there any questions?
So, if I'm reading this wrong, I apologize. But it's saying here, we're gonna get like 617 additional vehicles on Sanderson daily because of this project?
So again, for the project itself, which is the proposal right now is solely
I
focused on
understand
that. And as far as the project, the warehouse project you're speaking to, and as far as the number of trips on there, Yeah. Is that with the problem?
So the 617, okay. The addition of 617 daily trips isn't from the project. It is from the difference in distribution of all of the traffic on all of the roadways in the city once that segment of Whittier is removed. So it's basically the redistribution of trips. If we take out that little segment of roadway, those trips have to go somewhere. And so some roadways decrease and some roadways increase. That's the 617.
Yeah, and likewise, I think that same table, you'll see that there's, because of when you remove that segment of Whittier, 1,175 trips are removed from Kirby. So you have less traffic on Kirby. And the only portion that's offset to Sanderson as a result of the reconfiguration of traffic would be 617. So it's not related to the project.
Let me tag on that 617. You did that projection up to what year? Because the further it goes, the more higher
This
the
is
traffic.
2045, the way
Okay.
that the model is analyzing it. And so,
Okay.
and the reason that the 2045 is picked is that's what the model, the RIVCOM, which counts for Riverside County, analyzes when it's looking at all of the general plans for, Hemet, San Jacinto, Riverside County. That's when they're looking at build out of those general plans and your general plan.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Any more questions for the applicants?
So, thank you, and thank you for, please thank the owner for coming to Hemet. We're appreciative of the interest and the jobs, et cetera. How many jobs again are these projected to provide?
For this project, once that goes through, the idea, the anticipation is 500, more than 500 jobs on a regular basis. And then seasonally, they could have up to 700, over 700 people that would come in for jobs. That's a full day's work with different, it wouldn't be just one hourly segment. That'd be throughout the day, because they switch throughout the day, and especially during the seasonal periods when shipping and product is moved a lot, then they would have more jobs, but at least 500 jobs is anticipated.
What is their peak season? Is that summer, winter?
Yeah, it's usually fall
Fall.
through the kind of first couple months of the year.
And I just want to say that one thing I remember when, for those of you who don't know, I had been on the council for 16 years, way back, 92 to 08. So we had approved the adjacent property for specific plan. And we talked a lot about this property and the future. There was even a ballot measure. Someone wanted to try to make it just housing, and we were so limited in Hemet on manufacturing and warehousing that we wanted to try to keep jobs. And that was our reason for keeping that zoned what it was. If Whittier actually went through instead of dead ending at Kirby, I might have some issues with this, but I do appreciate that it stops there and it won't be bringing truck traffic onto Kirby. So thank you.
I appreciate that question. So that brings in mind a question to tag on to her. Okay, so you say it's projected about 500 jobs, correct? And did you do any, what is basically, what's going to be the entry level? Did you do any research to show that the Hemet community would be able to get through with this entry level, and the warehouse, is it going to be more of robotic type of setting, is manual?
Yeah, I'll do my best to answer. So the the company that wants to move into the building is existing today, and they are in different areas of the county, actually in different county, but they want to move to Hemet. The reason they picked this site, and they actually purchased the property. So unlike, if you're not familiar with how development works in many areas, a lot of developers, they'll put an offer on a property and they'll put it in escrow. They won't close on the property until they have their approval to build, because the amount of money that goes into, processing these plans, these environmental analyses, all the work that we've been doing, it takes a lot of money to get to that point. And then in addition to the cost of the property, you don't want to close on or purchase the property until they know, okay, we can build something on this property. So most developers won't close on the property. This developer, the owner, chose to purchase the property, close on the property, because they believe Hemet's the right place to be. They base that decision on a number of job studies that have been completed to see where is their labor, people that are wanting to work, but they don't have as much work in the area that they live. Hemet was one of those areas that was highest on the list of areas, so they chose Hemet for that reason. The types of jobs that would come here, they have the warehouse component where they do have the people with the product working, and that's from entry level to supervisors to managers to other levels. And they have an administrative office where they will have the people that are answering the phone, looking at the logistics of, okay, we have this much product that we have to move from one location to another. This is what needs to be produced or manufactured so that we can serve the need that we know is out there. And those are going to be higher level pay jobs, just because they're related to managing all of the products within the company. So they're both, or I guess quite a range of jobs throughout that 500 plus. They believe that they believe they can fulfill a lot of that within this area. As far as they look for local hiring, because for that reason, they wouldn't want to move here without that. They see a lot of people commuting from this location to other areas around the county and other counties.
Okay, that's good to know. All right. Thank you. Yeah, member.
Is this going to be a 24/7 operation?
There is a 24/7 component to the project. The after hours type of effort is actually reduced because they don't usually need that much. What they do need inside the office or inside the facility is, that throughout the day, they have a lot of organizing of the product that needs to move to different locations. And so they want to do that often during the evening when it's cooler and have more people in there. But certainly the administrative is not, the administrative office would not be the 24/7. And then when it gets into the peak period, that would have some 24/7 component. Just as far as the project, again, not related to the road segment, but as far as the project is concerned, we've done a lot of noise analyses on this, and there are limitations to not doing 24/7 on the side facing Kirby, because we know that the residents
Because
are.
it's resident. Okay,
Yes,
so you-
exactly. So there will be.
Because I was concerned about that. Okay.
Yeah, so there will be requirements on the project. Obviously, Monique is the one that would be doing the conditions of approval and mitigation measures. That's identified in the noise study and the environmental analysis
Okay,
as well.
okay.
Okay. Thank you. I see no more questions. Thank
Okay,
you. Sir.
thank you.
Okay. Okay, so with that said, based upon the recommendation and the update, can I get a motion to approve the project to cancel, please? Oh, okay. Based upon the recommendation and updates, can I get a motion to approve the project towards cancel?
So moved.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Hendrickson,
Abstain.
Commissioner Moore,
Abstain to further review.
Commissioner Van Arsdale,
Yes.
Vice Chair Lowe,
Yes.
and Chair Sawyer.
Yes,
Motion passed 3-0.
thank you. Item 10A, Public Works Director, City Engineer report, please.
Good afternoon. I've got some updates to give you. Let's start with some projects that we've recently completed. First one is the citywide sewer main replacement project. This has been closed out. The NOC has been filed and we've started the warranty period. This project was completed by Genesis Construction and it was ongoing for about 6 months. We recently just completed the recoding of water tank number 4. A couple photos of this project are shown. The one on the right was from the beginning of the project, and the one on the left was when it was close to completion. You can see quite a difference there. We are substantially complete with the slurry seal project over these 7 areas. There's still a small punch list that the contractor needs to return and complete, but the project overall is substantially completed. The citywide traffic signal safety upgrades project is finally also substantially completed. There's still some punch list items on this project as well. There were some hurdles that we experienced, mainly because it appeared that the design was rushed and the actual conditions at each of the traffic signal cabinets were not known. So they ran into a lot of issues throughout the whole project, running into unknown conditions.
What a nightmare did you have with that?
Several.
You found out where the bones were buried.
Yes, we have. We have a couple cabinets that need full replacement still today, so we're still working through some of those. Moving on to some updates on some currently active projects. One is the Simpson Center facility improvements that are underway. The parking lot rehab was completed back in June, and that was under CIP 5736. The exterior painting was just completed earlier this month, so it's looking good. We've got bids that we're soliciting for various interior painting, HVAC repairs, modernizing the elevator, replacing all the carpet, securing the dumpster and backflow device area, and getting our security alarm system integrated with the facility, and a roof replacement.
Didn't have to replace the foundation.
Nope, not the foundation. Here's some photos of some of the work that's been done. You can see it's definitely receiving a facelift. The next project is the skate park construction. It's progressing nicely. There has been some slowing on the shotcrete placement due to the heat and concerns of excessive cracking. So it is going to push the completion date out a little bit, but the work product is very high quality. I'm very impressed so far. This was initially going to be completed in early October, but it's looking, more like November this time.
Excuse me,
One
Noah.
question? No.
A
Yes.
question about the skate park.
Go ahead.
Some of us walk with cane, or we have some help with some wheels.
Mhm.
And I'd like to make sure that we can get to the skate park,
There will be ADA access from the parking lot into the skate park.
but this had been a dream of a former council member, Bonnie Wright. And I'd like to make sure that she's invited to the ribbon cutting.
Of course.
She spent a lot of hours traveling skate parks to finally recommend this company too that we're using. I was over there the other day and before it rained, of course, but I was quite impressed with their work ethic. And they seem to know exactly what they're doing.
We got pretty lucky with the contractor on this one. I think they've
I think
done
so, too.
several skate parks and they do know what they're doing.
as the mother of a skate park fanatic, I ran the name years ago by him, and he had been involved with the Olympic skate park and said this company was outstanding. So I do applaud you for selecting
Fantastic.
them and keeping a good eye on them too. But I noticed that they're clean about their job, which you don't find too often.
I agree.
They are trying to get done. Yeah, in spite of the heat. Oh, God. But
No.
thank you. Yeah.
Yes, and while I'm still on this slide, I'll just note that council is directing some additional security components to go into this project separately at the end, which will include a live streaming camera that everyone can see. And I think it'll be great that kids can go on the camera and see who's at the skate park before they head down there. So that'll be great. And then also there will be lighting. We do have a grant application in to help with funding the lighting, but either way, that will be one of the amenities that will be added. And then the other one would be, that is under consideration, is fencing, a wrought iron fence.
Time for Christmas break, right?
That's right.
Okay.
These are just some of the construction photos. The center one there was taken with a drone on August 4th. Actually, quite a bit has actually been done since then. So hopefully I'll have a new drone photo for the next meeting that we have. Right, another ongoing active project is the Hemet Valley Bikeway. It's moving ahead, maybe even slightly ahead of schedule at this point. There have been some questions and concerns with this project relating to the bulb outs or the curb extensions. You can kind of see that on the photo of this intersection here. They have a lot of positive reviews for safety of pedestrians, but they also can be, looked at as in a negative way for large vehicles if you have to make a turn. So we're getting feedback from both directions, but just wanted to share that. We're expecting this project to be substantially completed in early October. The next one that we're working on is the Sierra Dawn Streetlight Conversion Project. We're coordinating with Southern California Edison to get a standard 240 volt service installed. We've been working on that for a couple months already, but I think we're getting close to at least having the design that they need. So, and otherwise, we're working through procurement on all of the new light heads, and we're working on the scope of work for the wire replacement to get that out to bid. The citywide pavement rehab projects, CIP 5755. I just received the final design back from our consultant late last week. So I'm in the process of compiling the bid package so we can get that out to advertise. And we've got the Auto Mall Street Rehab Project into design. We had a meeting recently with all the dealership leaders, and we're getting the project coordinated. We're planning to get it so that it's completed before spring of 2024. And that concludes my presentation. If there's any other questions, I'm happy to answer.
No, I'm gonna ask you about this again. Any upgrade on the Warren and Devonshire?
Warren and Devonshire, you know what? I did finally get a report with the warrant analysis, and I'll be moving that to a new design firm to get the traffic signal there under design.
Okay, all right, thank you. And okay, go ahead, ma'am. Go ahead.
No, expand on that a little bit.
Yeah, it's the traffic light, traffic signal. That's what I brought up long time ago. Yes, and because
It
it's
is
a lot of
still
bottom
needed.
line.
It
Yes,
is warranted, and we need to get it completed. Yes.
And the issue I think you guys was having with was the vacant lot. I think you guys need some right away or something from that? Yeah.
There will be some right-of-way acquisition as part of this project, yes,
At the
because
northeast
the
one?
alignment isn't quite right. So in order to do it right, it has to have some additional right-of-way.
Was the developer conditioned at all to improve that intersection?
Uh, as in Stony Mountain, or which developer?
Well, I don't think it's Stony Mountain
Not
there on
Stony
the corner.
Mountain.
If it's Warren and Devonshire, it's just those few.
So there's
homes.
some developments there that would have paid like a fair share percentage.
Okay,
But it's, you know,
because they
we,
left that empty lot. And then people were, using it to bypass all the
Right.
traffic.
Mhm.
And it was dangerous. And the poor lady selling honey, I kept waiting for her to, be thrown in the air,
She
but
moves further down.
yeah, the project is in the capital improvement program and it is funded, so we'll be moving it forward.
across the street, the north side belongs to the county, right?
Yes. There is, let's see, so yes, there is on the northeast,
And
the northwest
Are
side is
they
the
going-
county.
Are they participating in improvements there? Because the drop is almost a foot right now because of the rain, but I saw some guy blow a tire today. It's in the county. It wasn't the city, it was the county. But I just wondered if there was county participation going on.
They're gonna definitely be commenting on the design. I'm not sure if there's any financial contribution, but we'll definitely have that conversation.
CIP 5696, the bikeway.
Hmm.
Is the goal, I mean, is it citywide?
It goes from Esplanade all the way down to just past Chambers. It's on State Street.
So it's not gonna be connecting citywide?
No, it kind of connects from San Jacinto on the one end of the city down to the south end of the city.
And one last question on that. Is there any works on, or any projects regarding flooding in the city roads?
There are some in the CIP. There's going to be a joint project over on the west side near Seattle Basin that's with Riverside County Flood Control. And so it's going to be the city that will get it out for design, and then we'll get reimbursed through Riverside County Flood Control for that project.
Yes, Commissioner Lowe.
Long time coming.
From Devonshire north to Menlo. The people that live on the east side of, wait a minute, the east side of Costin have put up with that road for the last 15 years that I. And it's, the Seattle Basin is right there, the north end. And that road is just awful. I mean, they've had to use the west side dirt for a parking lot because there's no curves and gutters. It just drops off into Never Never Land there. Is there any plan that we have to fix that street,
As in Seattle or Costin?
Austin? If you go from the elementary school up there south to Devonshire, all the people that live there have to put up with a road that's falling apart. And they've been doing it for the last 10 to 15 years that I know of.
So CIP 5755 that I showed, we just finished the design and getting the bid package
So,
put together, has Costin from Devonshire to Menlo as part of that project
Okay,
being
well,
replaced.
I didn't go into detail with it, I guess. Are they gonna have a place to park and stuff? I mean, it's not just gonna be roadway. There's gonna be a lane for parking there with that housing, because otherwise they fall right into the basin.
It's full width. I'll have to double check the plans and
Okay.
make sure that that includes
Because they've
parking.
really been very patient. I remember them in a council meeting saying, take the whole street, please, please fix it. And that was almost 15, 20 years ago. It's just that they've tolerated it so long. So it would be north of Kaboom Park. Yeah, okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, Noah. Okay, we'll move to item 11, future agenda. If any commissioner have items for consideration at a future infrastructure commission meeting, please state the agenda item now, please. Yeah,
Question. Does this committee review issues regarding graffiti?
Falls under our purview.
I know there's a council infrastructure committee. Excuse me, council graffiti committee, but does that fall under anything that we do for improving?
Looking at the 20 items that does fall under this commission, and I don't think it specifically identifies graffiti, but I'm sure it could be considered.
It's just, in the years gone by, we had started the initial graffiti abatement program back in 93. So that's a way back statement. But some of the things that were practiced for a long time, I think if they were re-implemented would make a big difference in what the walls that had been graffitied look like. For example, when they were starting to get spotted up, initially we had just explicitly said you will sandblast so it doesn't look all blotched up. Then we said if you ended up having to paint because you compromised the grout in the block walls, then we painted the wall, and we figured out how to cooperate with the owners of properties and either get them to help participate in costs of paint or whatever. But bottom line is we'd get the wall painted all one color, and then we would work with property owners to have paint available, either get a gallon or two, like at the mobile home parks. And then they would have a wall that was all painted. We cooperated, we helped get that done. And then they would run out and get that off quickly, and it wouldn't look like a bunch of blotches. That's just an example of some, I think, best practices we could take a look at and consider. And it seems like that's an infrastructure type issue.
I would say.
so Noah, can you put that in the next agenda and see what you can come up with, please? Okay.
And there's a whole bunch of other things, but I just wondered if, if we helped with that, maybe we could get some of these really ugly walls starting to look uniform and good again.
Thank you. Anything else for our next agenda? Okay, I see none. There's a little bit of conflict on item number 12, adjournment. Does staff have any objection if we start the meeting at 3 p.m. because we have conflict on some members? Yes.
Yes, because I work 9 to 5. I already take off an hour early to come here for this commission. And as I'm now running the showroom for my boss, it is cutting in. So yeah, I have a problem with moving the time up.
And I guess my question being new is, do you have consistent days that do you always meet on Mondays or the first and third, or do you meet or the first? I'm trying to make us meet twice a month, I guess, when I said that. Or is it different, or is there a choice of days that are?
The meetings are set in the resolution to be at 4 p.m. on the last Monday of the month, every other month of odd months. It does get changed due to holidays, and
So this was a special day. It wasn't normal. Okay. I do have a first and third Monday, or Jackie and I actually have a first and third Monday meeting at 5:30 that we have as a regular schedule. So if it's the fourth Monday, that would be fine for me. It is.
Well, if I recall, and please correct me, fellas, if I'm wrong, but we were also talking because of COVID, we were meeting every other month. And there's a lot going on. I mean, our employees are working around the clock now. And since you've been here, thank goodness, the city's getting improved. But when the council combined 3 committees into one, those committees used to meet every month. And now we're meeting every other month, and we're only one committee. And it just seems to me that the way the city's going and the way everything is all of a sudden awakening again, thank goodness. I think either we have a workshop and discuss meeting every month for the benefit of staff too. Because if we wait and then we suggest something here that we've been talking about, that puts you in a precarious position. And I just think this way it would open a door for you to discuss stuff with us. So it wouldn't be a surprise at a meeting. And then we have a list of 10 things we want answered before we even get, before we approve it or something. I see that happening down the road. If it doesn't get back on track again as a normal meeting every month, like it used to be. Because when you combine 3 committees into one, this agenda is going to get a lot longer now that we're returning to normal times, whatever they were.
Yeah, the ordinance does allow, the commission to, or the council to set, change the meeting times or add meetings. And at this point, I think, we've been calling special meetings as needed to hear things that are time sensitive. And that's been working, but if the commission wants to change the meeting schedule, that's entirely up to them.
Could think about it, come back with a recommendation. Because, every other month, there was a lot of stuff that we weren't even reviewing that really was under the purview. And now that we have a new city manager that knows what he's doing, I just see a lot of that evolving into a faster pace for the city.
Member Lowe, I think calling the special meeting when needed, I think it will be less burdensome on our new commissioner because she stated she's available on the alternate Mondays.
I would be
And-
available the 4th Mondays. Like I say, I hadn't asked when I applied. I should have, I guess. But the 4th Mondays, even if it were a monthly meeting, would be just fine. I don't, and I kind of agree that I hope there's a lot going on that need to be reviewed because that means you've got a lot more things happening as far as construction and stuff on good things. But a monthly meeting, the 4th Monday of each month would not be a problem for me.
Okay, and then the other flip side is Commissioner Henderson, I think you're taking off,
I take
you
off
take off yes.
every time we have a
it-
meeting.
Is that gonna be a
because-
burden? Yeah, every Monday for you? Yeah.
No, it's not a problem taking off 1 hour early. I mean, it's like they do, I have responsibilities and they need me there. I mean, I can pull this off once a month.
Well, and we need you too.
I understand that. But taking off even earlier puts them in more of a bind. And I can't do that to my boss. They're the ones who pay me.
So maybe we could have it maybe for right now and we just see how it's going
Okay.
and just have the special meetings when needed. And then we keep it alternate month, and and then whenever we have the special meeting, we
Okay.
can, All right. Yeah. All right, thank you, guys. Okay, so with that said, item 12, adjournment. The next Infrastructure Commission meeting will be held on Monday, September 25th at 4 p.m. in the City Council chamber located at 450 East Latham Avenue in Hemet, California. So meeting is adjourned at 5:11 p.m. Thank you. Thank you, guys.